figure this part out. No, I can't do that, can I? Nope.
No, that's all me.
Looking for this button, but then I can't see the chat. So it's the one I got a much stronger computer, but it does have a smaller screen. So like it's funny because like the chat box is basically as big as the screen that I can see.
Oh, right.
But I thought, for my limited technology ability, like I spent the day mostly doing backups on my old computer because for once in my life, I bought the new computer before the old computer completely died. So
yeah, that's new for you.
Yep. Yeah. Usually, I just ride that thing into the ground. But like this year, I was like, I'm going to see what they have for the Black Friday sales, and HP had a really good deal on a very, very fast but small laptop. Their ZBook with 64 gigs of RAM.
Oh, cool.
So like it should be good for a little while.
Yeah, no, that should last you a while.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't do a lot of digital art really, so.
Yeah, I really need it for just like when I'm doing video editing and stuff for like the channel, and I'm hoping to do more of that this year, and be able to do some fun stuff. I actually was playing around with the Adobe Animate program.
Oh yeah, that sounds kind of neat.
It is neat, and it's very simple. So it's like you don't have to be if you know the other Adobe programs. If you know the bubble warp feature where you put the little pin into things and you can warp it in Photoshop.
Yep.
That's essentially how the animation engine works. It's like you put these little pins in it, and they act like almost like a paper doll. And if you have like a fancy drawing, it can look a lot fancier than it is with the limited movement. So like I was messing around with like Lord Krakus's arms and stuff, and
oh, that's cool.
It was just trying to figure out how it worked. And I'm still I know all of the 2D Adobe programs, like all the design software, very, very well, but I'm still Premiere I know well, but I'm still getting around on the other ones.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. I know Premiere incredibly well. Then again, I had to use it when I worked at WGBH. So
yeah. And there's a lot that Premiere, and crossover between that and After Effects, as I've found, but there's still like more templates and nifty things. So.
Oh yeah, and After Effects does some crazy shit. So
yeah,
we can do some really crazy stuff with 3D.
I guess welcome everybody to the first stream of the year. We're here with our good friend Alison.
Hi, I'm here to annoy you.
And what do I have here? Today, I also, in addition to that, scanned a whole bunch of old pages of Helena that haven't seen the light of day yet. This is the last page that I showed off was the splash page of the krill. The next page was a 2-page spread that is kind of like a big spoiler, but I don't know. I've debated on showing it or not. So that's why there was a little bit of a gap between the two. And then the page I'm working on today, I think you'll be able to see the whole, if I use my very fancy hand crank zoom feature here on my tripod. This is the characters all reacting to what just happened. So.
Oh, that's cool.
I did change I made these just more organic looking, as you can see, where I made them like wavy lines. But yeah, I tweaked some of the angles a little bit because of where they actually are in the set, so to speak. But yeah, there's the correlator just gasped, and then Professor Prawn, and we'll have this is the return of Krakus to the scene. We'll fix up Undersea Hero a little bit, and then Liquid Lad has this strange little smirk on his mysterious smirk, we'll say.
Oh, it's awesome. I love it.
But we're on page 46, and we're getting ever closer to finishing the line art. And my friend Kevin, actually, I was talking to him online the other day, and he very nicely said that this could be the year of Undersea Hero, and I hope he's right.
Yeah, well, I think so.
Put so much time into it, and I still have to color a lot, but we're getting there.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
But I have help with the laying of flats and things like that. So, and I don't do the crazy shiny colors anymore like I used to. Those take far too long. I like flat colors, and old timey look colors with
Yeah, that's what I do.
yeah, and it
I texture it a little bit, but I'm more into if it looks like it came out of the Bronze Age, I'm more interested in that.
exactly, yeah. Um,
Like I want it to. There's a certain look I want. Like I was gonna say any colorist that really inspires me. I'd say Mike Spicer.
Mike Spicer, okay,
Yeah, he works a lot with Daniel Warren Johnson.
yeah,
So he's the one that kind of. I literally built the palette based on the Extremity comic,
oh cool,
and then I modified it from there. But I like used a base palette kind of on the colors I saw that he was using. I did some selections from there, and then I built out my own from there.
that's neat. I went on to Heritage where they have the lovely high res scans that if you're a member you can access them.
Yeah.
I grabbed a whole bunch of George Russo color guides and some other colorists like Christy Shield and
That's nice.
a couple others, and just seeing how they approached it with that print technology in mind. Because when you have that, like, because as I'm sure you remember, at the advent of digital coloring, they were trying to use like every trick that they had.
Oh yeah.
That they had access to, rather than, you know, necessarily tailoring it to what they were working on, just because it was the shiny new thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was, hey, look what we can do. We have this new little thing, and the colors looked horrible.
Hey, Caleb's here. Hey, Caleb. And
was it Daffa Italian? I think that's actually someone who's following me.
Daffa Italian. It says paired, so yeah, that would be one of your.
Yeah, that'd be from me.
One of your Twitch folks.
Yep, one of my Twitch people. I was thinking about trying to switch over to Restream for things.
Yeah.
Because I think it has a few things in it that are a little bit better.
There's definitely stuff in here that I don't know how it works, and I'm sure you would know how it works.
I have to figure it out a bit, but yeah, I have to play with it a bit. But yeah.
And there's stuff in here that I want to use this year where, like, last year I successfully, because I only stream once a week, and most of the platforms, that's like the bare minimum you can do.
Yeah.
And when I miss a week, you know, the algorithm kind of like buries my show. And last year I successfully once pre-recorded a show for a day I knew I'd be absent. So I kind of want to have one in the can for, you know, a sick day, as it were.
Oh yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
So that's what I'm hoping to have.
Yeah, so I'm cheating today, and I'm working digitally on my sci-fi project I've been working on and off for a while.
Oh, cool. I'm trying to look at it closely.
This is the splash page. I had originally what I had here was this was the background, which is a picture I took off NASA's website of something that I wanted to use for it as like a placeholder. And I was going to kind of make my own thing, but I threw this in here to just be like, this is kind of what I'm going for. And now I'm making my own.
I think it's neat. I mean, most of that stuff is public domain, and they put it out there.
Oh yeah, no, I have no problem using it. I like using NASA stuff because it's like real stuff. That's a nebula. I can't remember the name of it that I used. And I was trying to get something that matches kind of. I couldn't find a really good shot of the Botess Void, which is the largest area of like sheer nothing that they've found in space.
I remember when they had those first Hubble telescope images. I know they have far more like advanced telescopes now, but I remember when those first were published in like Time magazine.
Oh, I remember those. Those are great.
Because I you know, before that we had pictures of like the Horsehead Nebula, and then when you see it with like the high def of what it really looks like, the Horsehead isn't really there. It was like a two-dimensional illusion based on the type of camera or whatever.
Yeah, well, none of that stuff actually looks the way it does when you're looking at that stuff. It's that's all basically we add the color to it and everything.
Yeah.
but it's still cool.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, because usually we take it with our radio telescopes. I forget what the James Webb uses. I have to look at that again. But the stuff that James Webb is pulling out is beautiful. And then you have this is the Event Horizon telescope, and that's what we were using to take pictures of black holes. And that's literally like using the entire planet as a satellite, as a telescope.
I also enjoy, obviously, with the undersea stuff. If you follow the Mbari, any of their social media stuff, you'll see all kinds of things from like underwater viewing buoys and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they've recently just found they've gotten pictures of so many new species and things that have never been photographed. Like they just got the first pictures of the long fin squid, which like these deep sea creatures could not exist with gravity. So they have these incredible like gelatinous forms that are look like almost like spider web arms.
Oh yeah, I've seen some of those pictures. Those are cool.
And if you want to see aliens,
look into the water.
We've got them.
Yeah, look at a squid or an octopus. They're not actually aliens, but the closest thing I can think of that is.
Well, there's a whole classification of animal underwater that's related to what you would see, at a beach, the comb jellyfish, where they filter water and nutrient from the water, but they still don't really know how they live. Well, they found so many different new species in that family that are like almost the size of a car now. Like these are like giant, like stuff from the abyss. Like if you ever saw that movie in the 80s.
I love that movie. I mean, it's the director's cut's the way to go with that movie. But yeah, I love that movie. That was the movie when James Cameron got punched in the face. Forget the actor that punched him, but there was an actor that basically like 3 people almost died while filming that movie.
I believe it. I mean, Ed Harris and then Michael.
It was Ed Harris punched him. That was it.
Yeah.
It was Ed Harris.
Ed Harris, another actor who got his start with the Roger Corman.
Yeah, he was a Roger Corman guy, wasn't he? I think that's one of the reasons why he was in The Abyss. I mean, Cameron got his start with Corman.
Yeah, what was it? Battle Beyond the Stars, and
and then he did like Piranha 2, and I don't believe that was a Corman film, but he did stuff with that. And then he did
affectionately referred to as the Citizen Kane of flying piranha movies.
Yes, it is. Then he did Rambo 2. I know that.
Oh, he did. I didn't know.
Yeah, he had something to do with Rambo 2, First Blood Part 2. Rambo, First Blood Part 2. That's what it was. He had something to do with that. I forget what, but he was something with that. I don't think he was a director. I'm not positive, but I know he had stuff to do with it.
We can't call it Second Blood.
No, that'd be actually probably a better name. But yeah. And then he did what was it?
Probably the Terminator.
Well, he did Terminator. I think Terminator might have been before Rambo. I think he did Terminator, then it's like Rambo and Aliens. They were all kind of right around on there.
Yeah, Aliens was after Terminator.
Yeah, like he specifically was delayed doing Aliens because he was committed to doing Terminator.
I gotta be honest, I have not seen the original Terminator in many years.
Oh, I love that movie so much. That was a great movie. So Peter might jump in and torment us at some point.
Oh, sure. He's always welcome.
Yeah. He wants to do an actual stream,
sure.
like 3 of us together, which I think would be great.
Yeah, we can do it on your channel, his channel, whichever.
All
channel.
3 of us. We can do it on all 3 of our channels. That would be amazing. Peter's good people.
I haven't met him in person, but I've enjoyed many of his comics, and I've watched his streams. He seems like a good dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. All right, now I want to fade it in a little bit.
I would ask him about my like the things that made me abandon using a quill, because I know that he has stuck it out with a quill.
Yeah, he's pretty much completely with the quill still.
Because it was for me, it was always the way it would just catch the paper and it would just ruin a line I was doing, and I would just get so frustrated. That's why I've switched over, especially at that time. I switched over to like just brush, and then I did that like frustrated, like crazy, but got better at it over the years. And then I added other tools as I went along, but I never added quill back into my
Yeah, every
toolbox.
time I use a quill, I usually regret it.
I'm just always impressed by the folks that can make it do what they want it to do.
Yeah, he's definitely good at it. Yeah, quill is definitely something that I definitely never mastered.
And he inked Calafiore for a long time, and Jim always had like a high contrast style. So
Mhm.
like, I would be interested to know like he what was on the page before he got it in his hands, and like what he had to, because back then like you didn't have to be pencilers didn't have to be super tight, and inking wasn't tracing. So I'd be
Right.
interested to know like what was of his hand out of those pages.
Yeah, I'd actually be kind of curious about that myself.
Because I've seen some of his drawings now, and I haven't looked back. I've got those Aquaman books here somewhere, but I haven't gone back to look to see like, oh, maybe he added this look to the faces, or he added this to the background, or these are his textures, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's always interesting figuring out the delineation of work.
No, I completely agree.
So, did you get any good comic-related Christmas presents?
No, I did not.
No.
I'm probably going to use a little bit of the money I have and get something. The new place I'm living, I actually have money again. Not a ton,
Hey.
but I actually have more money than I did before. So I am debating on saving up and getting myself a piece of original art from someone. I
Oh,
haven't
nice.
decided who yet,
I got
and
a
what I can afford.
Well, I got I would describe as a budget piece for Christmas.
Oh,
My
cool.
my wife got it for me, and
Ooh,
and I will preface, I'll show it, but I will preface it by saying that this is another example where I bought for the artist and not necessarily the page that it is.
mm-hmm.
And there are more pages of this on Anthony Snyder's site for like $40. And the artist is George Wildman, who was the editor in chief at Charlton for like its entire run.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you getting a Charlton piece? No surprise.
It's not Charlton, but it's the guy that
Oh,
basically is the reason that E-Man and all those other characters like Raj 2000 exist.
Oh, cool.
And this is actually when he did Tiny
Nice.
Toons for DC.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So
I love it.
You've got all the little characters, and you've got Ham and Ducky taking photos. And then, like, I thought it was funny because Hampton says, "I'm taking photos of the crab just burrowed into the ground." And Plucky says, "What are you talking about? Crabs aren't found in the bush." And then a little crab pinches him on the nose.
Gets on the beak. That's great. Oh, that's amazing. I love it.
So yeah, it's just a fun little page, and like indirect Charlton history. There's actually quite a few. I tend to make a list for, Camille will ask like, oh, if you want a piece of artwork, I'll make a list. There's actually some really good stuff in the like $40 to $80 range out there right now.
Oh, I'll probably go looking for that. So
yeah,
I can actually afford that. So
people are like, oh, you can't collect original artwork anymore. It's like you can't buy a Todd McFarlane splash, but you can still buy artwork.
I was gonna say a Todd McFarlane splash is like 10 grand, like minimum. So
Covers will always be expensive, but like I don't know. I've always I always learn something from the pages I look at, because like Wildman illustrated Popeye for a million years, and he was a very just like workman crafts. Like he knew how his tools worked, and it was very almost like some of the stuff was paint by numbers because it was formulaic with the style guides. And I just read an interview with someone who was hanging out with Nick Cuddy and some of the Charlton guys with Wally Wood. And it was when Wildman met Wally Wood for the first time.
That's cool.
And like Wayne Howard was there and a few other people were there. And one of the interesting thing was is that like it was said that Wildman knew that Wally Wood was better than him, but didn't know why. And I just thought that was very interesting.
That's kind of cool.
It's that secret sauce or whatever you would refer to it as, the magic touch, I guess. That was in there's a book called Against the Grain.
Oh, okay.
And it was put out by Tomorrow's Publishing. It's really hard to find these days, and it's more of a collection of essays written by people who knew Woody and who worked with him. So like there's essays by Ralph Reese and Larry Hama and Bob Layton, and I think Howard Chaykin has a piece in there, Bill Pearson. So like any of the CPL gang and the old Wits End gang all have different essays and stuff in there, and it's just an interesting piece.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, Bob Stewart was the editor, putter together of the book.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
They talk about like what used to bother Woody and what used to, like Trina Robbins the late Trina Robbins, when she met Woody, it took, in her own essay, it took all the strength in her being to not tell her that she liked his earlier work better
than his current work.
Yeah, at the time. She was such a fan of the EC stuff.
Yeah, I can definitely get behind that.
So, people forget that he, designed the red costume for Daredevil, and like he did make contributions to like some of the mainstream current superhero world, but
oh yeah, he definitely did.
He never struck me as a guy that cared all that much about superheroes.
No, I always got the feeling that he didn't, and John Buscema, I never really got the feeling that he was interested in superheroes.
Yeah,
I think Buscema was really happy doing Conan.
Yeah, I have read in interviews where he basically said like if it weren't for that, he would have just gone fully back into like magazine illustration.
More commercial art.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so kind of like that, the way that came out. I think that looks good.
The star map.
Yeah, the base of the void.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have this idea of this like intrusion of a space that kind of appears.
Yeah,
this is inspired by an actual thing.
Yeah.
So, and it really is 330 million light years across.
Wow.
Yeah, it's ginormous.
I can't even really conceive of how big that is.
Picture it as you can fit around 2,000 galaxies in that amount of space, and they've found 60. To give you an idea of the magnitude of how big that area is.
It's interesting, the idea of conception without reference, because I was actually the other day I was talking about this with a friend of mine. We were talking about old masters paintings, like Renaissance old masters paintings.
Oh yeah.
And people will say like, oh well, they don't look really photographic, and I had to explain to them like you were like hundreds of years away from what a photograph is.
Yep.
And they made, if anybody knows what a studio painting from the Renaissance is they are these gigantic paintings. Like they are like 12 feet across. You were meant to see them from far away. And they used to actually, travel these paintings around on like carriages and they would be on the side of a carriage, and they would pull the like a drape away, and people would be able to see art come to their town, as like a traveling art show with these giant paintings. So
Yeah, that was a studio piece.
yeah.
Yeah, those are huge, absolutely enormous and beautiful. A lot of them were.
Because otherwise, maybe the only art you would see would actually be like at your church.
Yep.
There's my prelim. I can see my prelim. What's that? Is that a ship there?
Yep. Yeah. This is a 2-page spread that I was doing. This is actually towards the end of the book. The black hole consumes a planet, kind of wanders into the an area where there's a planet and eats it, and this ship is able to escape it.
That's an interesting use of the 3-panel progression on the upper left.
Yeah, I had an idea for that for years ago for an animated piece I was doing in Flash, of having like a jet take off and basically having this like background thing and having the panels kind of appear as it moves into each of the areas.
Yeah.
So I was like, what if I did that with the ship and I can get it kind of in one shot as it's kind of taking off into space? And the black hole's obviously causing damage and things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had realized that I must have flipped the spaceship like right around down here at one point, because I noticed it when I had printed this out so I could kind of look at it as well, see if there's anything I wanted to do with it.
Yeah, can you pull back a little bit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, there's another 3-panel on the right. There we go. Okay. Because by itself, when you were zoomed in, that one little panel, I was like, you should make that bigger. But if you've got it working with 2 other panels, so.
Yep. Basically, this ship right here jumps to hyperspace and or whatever. I'm not calling it that, but then the black hole kind of finishes eating everything in the area, and then there's this black void.
Cool. Very nice.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun making that.
Yeah, I mean, panel progression and then page turn dynamics. It's probably my favorite stuff for comics.
Oh yeah, no, I love figuring out how I want to turn it into a have a page turn into something.
Yeah, of course.
That is like my ultimate goal on things, is getting the perfect page turn.
I was actually working on my website because I'm going to be putting a bunch of stuff on it next year just for free. I'm just having stories go out. And I was working on the gallery design, and I want to make it so that you can only, on so many of these website galleries, you can see like all the pages. So you can see into the future and everything all at once. So I want it to be just the first page, and then you see the second page as if you're flipping through it. And then if a 2-page spread comes out, it then automatically adjusts to a wider aperture.
That'd be really cool.
So that's one of the things I was working on today.
Are you still using Wix for that?
I am, yeah. And there's so many new ways to change all the settings and customization in it that like it just takes some time, and I'm sure I'll have it done, and I'll just be able to copy and paste it and refill it with different pages. Because I looked at some of the different page flipper plugins that are out there that you can get, but like they slow it down so much, and then also when you're looking at it on mobile, it looks terrible. So
yeah, I can see that.
As long as I have the idea of where you see only the pages only the page I want you to see, followed by the next page that I want you to see at that time, as long as I can keep that order, I would be fine. I'm fine with it functioning that way without that cool like animation bit.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. I've been thinking about I've had a domain for my Alley Cat Comics for like ever, and there's like barely a placeholder page up on it. And I've been thinking about just like taking it over to Wix and building it there, because I can build it out so much quicker.
And honestly, like their help support has been fantastic for me. So
I've heard good things about them, so I'm like leaning towards just doing that.
And they also have that. I worked with them when the AI stuff really started taking off, and I found out about all my work getting scraped, where they unlist your image, so like you can still see it. It displays, and your keywords still come up, but it won't come up in those automatic searches.
Oh,
And
that's handy. So you avoid the scrapers.
exactly, like you can't stop somebody from going in and screen capturing it or anything like that, but it stops the automatic programs from grabbing stuff.
Oh, I approve of that. That's another reason to go with it.
Yeah. And it's literally now just like a little checkbox. When you put in your image, you hit this little lever and it makes it unlisted.
Oh, that's very handy. Those pages are done.
Hello, Martha's. I'm doing well. How are you?
Hello. Let's see. Kind of liking that. Yeah. Yeah, this piece has been a bit of a hybrid of things I've been trying to do.
Yeah, it's a cool piece.
Thank you. It's what was it? It's a I'm doing it traditional and digital, so I find it easier to work with both. So,
Well, when I see some of your stuff that incorporates either a digitally made piece or a 3D piece, like I always think of super graphics, like the Steranko super graphics, when he would do some sort of cool like kaleidoscopic thing and mix it with this figure drawing. And it's generally.
Yep. Yeah, that's basically kind of what I'm doing. Let's see.
It's a different style, but like the idea of incorporating those elements. I mean.
Yeah, this is the cover I'm working on.
I gotta make it bigger. There we go. Very cool. What's this element here?
This is my science fiction book I've been working on for a bit.
Oh, you can't see me pointing. So, I mean the background elements. Like I can see like there's the planet. Is that a logo design?
No, it's just all planet stuff. The logo I'll put over it, but yeah.
Okay.
But that's basically that. Then I had I got this set up so I had like a look, so I had an idea of how things would work, and I wasted ink.
There's a very important cat meeting going on behind you.
Yep, the two cats, Kaiju and Rocket, my new kid. I have that page.
Wow. Heavy action.
Yep. That shouldn't be there next. Okay, where's the other page? I hate it when I lose things.
I agree.
Lose my mind. I'd lose my head if it wasn't connected. What the hell? Where'd it go? I'm gonna be very annoyed because I spent a lot of time getting that thing done. Oh, there it is. Yep, it was out of order. Okay.
Oh, cool. That's a very cool effect on the lower right there.
Yeah, I had fun with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, hit it with a little bit of an ink wash.
Yeah, I dig it. Yeah.
Then we get into I said I'd done kind of how I want the book to end. I started setting stuff up with that.
Yeah.
And this is where the black hole kind of comes into, and it starts to eat things. Now, And with the science fiction element of it, one of the things I did is there's the kind of the big guy in the front on it and the lower panels, and then
Yeah.
this like tall, really lanky guy, and he's actually from a low gravity world. That's why he's like super kind of lanky and stuff. He's stretched out because the planet he's from doesn't have a lot of gravity.
I don't think people realize how difficult it is to draw two people in perspective walking towards the camera. That's
It's a
not
pain in the ass.
that's not an easy one. But it looks good. Is that the black hole?
Yeah, it's starting to come in and eat the planet, and
cool.
then the ship that I have is getting out of there, and you saw the stuff where I had the ship and all that.
Yeah. It's a cool ship. I am terrible at designing spaceships. Wow.
Yep, so that's what I got for it so far. Things I'm working on.
Very cool.
Oh yes, the kitties are definitely the little scene stealers. I completely agree with you, Martha's. Yeah, that's my kitten. It's my kitten Kaiju. Here. Here. Come on. Let's make you famous on the internet. Again. That's Kaiju. Ah!
Hops away. Not
Yep.
now. God.
And my buddy Rocket. Also, I've had a visitor here lately. A little black mouse.
Okay.
Which for some reason the two of them haven't gone after. Well, I didn't say that. Kaiju's taken interest. And he doesn't really know what to make of it. He's like, what do I do with this? And like, kind of baps it a little bit. And Rocket's just sitting there going, yeah, I'll deal with it later. And it's like, and I've gotten to the point that if it comes back again, I'm going to name it and keep it as a pet. So,
hey, I mean, the cats don't seem to mind, and that's their job. So
yeah, I'm gonna get like a fish tank or something like that, and put some stuff into it, then stick it into it, and I'm gonna name it Black Phillip.
Okay.
Get a little witch reference in there. Marie just sent me a message. Okay, let's see. I'm going to get something else to work with a bit here. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And I got my correction on the size of the void.
Al, you're a big Wrightson fan. My buddy John had a post, and he was asking if there was ever a promo poster done of. I think I have it right here, actually. This cover.
I want to say I think there was.
Because I remember Bernie selling copies of the poster, like of this, like big versions of it at his tables. But I don't know if I remember there being a Twisted Tales poster.
I don't remember the Twisted Tales being in it, but I distinctly remember that image.
Yeah, the heads on the ropes.
That image has been cropped. Because I know that there's more to that image.
It continues, yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole more, and there's like more to the sky and everything.
Yeah.
So I think when I saw it, it was like the whole image.
Yeah. He seemed to think that there was like a Twisted Tales promo, so he's been scouring the internet and eBay trying to find a copy because he's a big Wrightson guy.
I love Wrightson. Wrightson is the man. That is not right.
Yeah.
Really? That's Rocket. He wants attention now.
Is one of them chattier than the other?
Oh, they both talk.
Okay.
They're definitely both talkers. Rocket is typically really chatty, but ever since I got Kaiju, he hasn't been as much.
We're wondering if that's what'll happen with Bruce if we get a second cat.
Probably. Pretty sure this is what I wanted. I'll find out in a second if it isn't. Manion, I always does twice the work everyone else does on their stuff, very painstaking.
I spend a lot of time on it. I do. Too much time. A pro would be done by now.
Yeah. They're about as pro as they come.
I appreciate that.
I think Rocket needs some attention.
Here. Yeah, you come. No, you're not going away. Ah.
Yeah, other cat.
So did you see the Superman trailer?
Oh, yes, I did. I am so looking forward to that movie.
Excellent.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yeah, I haven't been that excited for a Superman movie in a long time.
I hope there's a nice wide range of character emotions in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, and as soon as I saw Crypto, I was sold.
Yeah, that was very cool.
I just love the fact that they were using Crypto.
Well, I appreciate the fact that they're going at it with not the idea of having to start with an origin to begin the thing.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I know that that's something that, like, studios have been afraid to do. So I hope that it does well and we can just, like, you know, start a movie and make a good movie and not be, like, saddled with having to also tell the origin.
Yep.
Like, you can give enough of a nod to whatever character basis you need without, you know, showing the destruction of Krypton from beginning to end.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
And that being said, you know, the original Superman's, you know, one of my favorite movies. So
I love the original Superman. Oh. Finding mouse slow enough to catch is probably got internal injuries already. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't had that many problems catching mice if I need to. I actually caught the Black Phillip there, but it was like really, really cold out, and I didn't have the heart to throw it outside.
That's fair.
I was trying to figure out what to do with it when it escaped. Oh, Mike's here. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
More people know Kal-El's origin than King Arthur's by now. That's probably true.
I would agree with that.
Definitely agree with that, Pat. It's Patrick Flattery, one of the Boston Comics Roundtable people.
I remember years ago there was a study done as far as like what were the most recognized icons in the world, and the McDonald's Golden Arches was number 1, the crucifix was number 2, and Superman's logo was number 3.
Yeah, I believe that completely. Yeah, I believe that completely. That makes perfect sense to me. I was actually looking at how to draw that logo. The thing's a pain in the ass sometimes. I know it's like the trick is to draw the negative space.
It's two fish.
Yeah, it's two fish.
What's tough about Superman is that it's just a handsome guy. There's not, as far as I'm concerned, like there's it's not like a character actor. You're drawing a pretty person, so like I
Yep.
can find that tougher to make more interesting to look at
Yeah, that's very true.
because you can't like lean on a crutch of like a crooked nose or some sort of facial defining characteristic. You have to kind of follow the like the regular conceived proportions of beauty.
That's very true.
I remember, was it I think it was Jurgens that talked about it, where like his version of cracking the Superman code was like making the neck thick.
Well, he did definitely do that.
It was either he or Kerry Gamble that I read that from.
Well, both of them are known for that.
It might have been Kerry Gamble because I read his sketchbook.
Yeah. Yeah, and Gamble was first, wasn't
I think they were there about the same time. Gamble was at Marvel for so long on like Power Man and Iron Fist, and he did Marvel team up for a little bit.
That's true. Yeah, I know I have a lot of his stuff on Power Man and Iron Fist. I love that book.
I always thought Gamble was an underrated artist, and there, when I show him to people now, like some people don't
even know
differentiate or recognize his stuff. Because there was actually like a one shot of the X-Men at like the Texas State Fair, and I know that sounds ridiculous, but it was a real thing.
Yep,
yeah, and Kerry Gamble drew like the first 12 pages out of like an 18-page story. And if he had drawn the X-Men at that time instead of John Romita Jr., I have no doubt that he would have gone down as one of the
best artists, especially on X-Men.
Yeah. There's a splash page where they're in the danger room that he did the entire team on, fighting like a hologram of Magneto. And it was just dynamite. I'm having trouble seeing this whole shape right now. I'm going to have to just go in there and get the blue out and draw some shapes so I know where things are. Draw the skull stuff underneath it that I'll just end up erasing, but it'll at least make it so that the other stuff's in the right place.
Yeah. You're just trying to make more work for yourself.
Yeah, that's me.
Nowadays, people thumbnail, blow it up, layer one line art over it, fill it, clear purple shadows, done. Not you. No, that's not us. That's definitely not us.
Yeah, I've done stuff digitally. I've just found that like with my other work that I do in graphic design, spending all day on a computer, I'd rather struggle here.
Yeah, the only reason I'm doing The Last Sentinel digitally is I started digitally.
Yeah,
that's really it. I mean, if I was to do it all over again, I would start it all traditionally, then scan it in, and then do all the color work.
I did
colors again though.
The Wally and Tessie books were all 100% digital, and then I did one story of the Tick digital because I was basically told like it needed to be done at the fastest time I've ever done anything in my career. So
I'm also using the texturing. I'm doing this with my with basically the digital Zipatone stuff. I would do this completely differently now. I would actually be doing it more so it looks like duo shade.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because I like that look from Turtles.
Yeah, I think of turtles, and I also think of American flag when I think of duo shade.
The American flag did use duo shade.
Yeah.
It's a book I haven't read in forever. I flip through Turtles fairly regularly. So
Yeah.
I
I was actually looking at an old trade of the turtles at an antique market over the holidays, and I hadn't. It was one of the first comics trades. I hadn't looked
Oh,
at
I
one of those.
loved those.
Hadn't looked at one of those in 100 years. They wanted a bunch of money for it, but I was able to just check it out.
I had all of those. I don't know what happened to them.
I had the first two of those, and then I had the movie adaptation that came out as like a graphic novel when I was a kid.
Yeah, I got that off the shelf.
Yep.
Like in like a convenience store.
I think we got it at like a mall bookstore.
Mm.
Whether it was Walden Books or one of those.
Yeah. God, I miss Walden Books.
One of those stores that doesn't exist anymore.
Yep. Damn it. One thing about zooming in, I keep noticing shit I miss.
That's actually one of the reasons I stay away from digital, is because I found myself zooming in too much.
Yeah.
And I would be doing stuff that didn't help the page or the piece at all. And I would just, like, as much as I make work for myself here, there are limits. And, I've actually been lately drawing a lot of pages like manga size.
I'm going to be shifting to that completely soon and going right down to manga size. Like do 9x14 or something.
Yeah. This is that thing I was scanning today that I've just kind of done between stuff. Like here's the Helena story. Or it's just on 9x12 where I crop in a little bit.
Or even 9x12 would be good too. I laid out a few pieces in a 9x12 format just to kind of get a look at it to see how it would come out, and I liked it overall.
Because I think I've been getting ahead of myself with some things, and like with Undersea Hero, like I was so focused on a certain look rather than how long it would take.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean there. Where is it? Something. Oh, my, I don't know if you can see it. That's the, my tribute piece to, X-Men 141.
I have to enter full screen. Classic.
Yep, did it with my, with the Last Sentinel stuff.
Cool.
I stuck in a bunch of my other characters that I haven't introduced yet.
First cover appearance.
Yeah. But yeah, this is me testing out the 9x12 stuff.
Okay, cool.
Kind of just getting a base start of what I want to do with it. I probably got this stuff buried in here someplace.
Looking for ways to make making comics more creator friendly.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. All right, you can jump back to the both of us, and I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick. So I'm just gonna mute and stuff for a second.
Since it's just me, I'll full screen my page that I'm working on. And to me, there's not quite enough cartooning going on in here, and it's because I'm drawing the head so big. But I'll be able to pull some of that back in when I ink it. Get this out of the way here.
And I'm back.
There we go.
Hi, I'm back.
Hello.
So yeah. Oh. Actually, really, Rocket? Really? He's like staring at the back wall, and he meowed.
Yeah.
Ghosts. It's got to be ghosts.
Ghosts just wants attention.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I've been strongly thinking of either going 9x14 or 9x12
Yeah.
for the future. And just kind of seeing what will happen with it.
I mean, one of the things I did do with Undersea Hero was like when I did a double page spread, I used a large, giant piece of Bristol that wasn't quite 22 by 17, so it's a little smaller.
Yeah.
And I honestly, when I scan it in, I don't notice any difference whatsoever with the finish.
Yeah, I was debating for doing a double page spread with it. Is I got some, what was it, 14 by 17. And just kind of going with that. So.
I did get some Blick gift card for Christmas. I was thinking about getting some gouache and messing around with that.
I got a huge thing of gouache. I like using from. I have a huge set of gouache stuff.
Not going to get a big set because my plan would be to continue to use watercolor as the base, but then just go back in with a top layer for like highlights and stuff.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I was actually debating on trying to go that way myself with it. Was going watercolor base and then do gouache over it. But
Yeah.
the deal I got on the gouache was just so damn good. So
Nice.
it was like the what was the line? It was like 60 colors of
Oh wow.
the Ars Tiza, and I got it really cheap. So I was like, yeah, I'm doing it.
Speaking of deals, for people who use digital fonts instead of like using hand fonts or whatever, today is the Comic Craft annual sale
Oh yeah, it is.
where it's half off. So if you want to go grab any of their fonts,
Yeah, this is definitely the day to do it.
you can get it for half the price. And as I always tell people, if you're making a commercial product, you're allowed to do small independent projects or self-published projects without the extended license. But if you are of the doing slightly larger, even Kickstarters, it's a small company run just by Richard Starkings and his pals. Please buy the licenses.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
They're not that expensive.
No, not in that sense. They're definitely not. So Martha's, I think I'm faster with traditional line art than screenshotting it and finishing digital because I use free media buying paint on my phone. Yeah, I can see that. I zoom a lot to getting better at digital art by bit. Well, yeah, I mean, digital art's a separate skill to traditional.
And a lot of people mix them around. Like I know Craig Rousseau does all his layouts on his iPad, and then he'll print them out and then pencil and ink them on board.
Yeah, he will. Well, I do a lot of my my roughs all digitally, and then I print them.
Yeah.
I do all my blocking and stuff like that, and then I do the drawing when I print it. And I scan it and go in and mess with it there. I think I want skin tone a little bit more red to it.
Always trying to get that balance of cartooning and illustration where it's got to be cartoony enough to where it's not like that uncanny valley thing.
Right.
I think we're failing at that on the liquid lad here. I'm gonna have to make him a little goofier.
I'm all for the goofy. trying to get this guy's skin tone color, and he's like horribly burned by like acid.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to get I was thinking of doing kind of a yellowish tinge to it to make it look a little sickly.
If you're going sickly, and I know it's cliche, but if you're thinking yellow, just put in like a tiny bit of cyan, so it's just a hair towards green.
That's not a bad idea.
Instead of skewing towards orange or red.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Because if you think, was it Tom Savini when he did the remake of Night of the Living Dead?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
He made everybody green.
Yeah, and yeah, because I remember in Dawn of the Dead, everybody was blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, the remake of Night of the Living Dead is really good.
It's a good movie. It is. I don't know. My favorite Dead is probably still Day of the Dead, but...
You're a Day of the Dead guy.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I like when the story keeps going, you know? I mean, even if it has its flaws, like, I actually thought 28 Weeks Later was a better movie than 28 Days Later.
Okay, we're going to disagree on that one.
Because I know Cillian Murphy's in the first one. It's got a better cast. Like, it's the introduction to the concept.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about the second one.
Oops. Yeah, I love the 28 Days Later. I'm really looking forward to 28 Weeks Later.
I mean, Danny Boyle, very good director.
Yes, he is. The trailer for that movie is so haunting.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's really, really good. It uses a poem from like the 1890s. They have a recording of from 1915.
Oh, cool.
And I can never remember the poet's name. I read it when I was in like high school. And it's so haunting. The name of the poem is called Boots.
Is it Robert Lauren Fleming?
Don't think it was that. Let me look.
No.
Oops. Rudyard Kipling.
Oh, the Jungle Book.
Yep, and it was written in 1903. And it was the whole idea of it. It's during the Second Boer War, and it's basically troops marching, infantrymen marching, is the idea behind it. And then Taylor something did the reading of it, and it is powerful. And they use it in the trailer, and it's haunting. Like incredibly haunting.
So they're gonna be a traditional poetry comeback in 2025. Are we gonna be talking about Longfellow on the stream in July?
That'd be fantastic. I could see us doing that. It's only because you mentioned 28 Days Later and stuff.
Yeah.
I'll be thinking.
No, I did my my senior capstone in college on Shakespeare's sonnets. So
That's a pretty cool capstone.
Before Patrick Stewart was reading them on Twitter.
Fair enough. Was it 33 or something like that? 36?
It was. I don't even remember at this point. It's been a long time.
It's 30 something.
Yeah.
Weird shit that we come up with during these things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I enjoyed poetry quite a bit. I actually even when I was a young naive artist, I published a book of poetry.
Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I did an art exhibit at the Nantucket Historical Association the year I graduated from college back in '07, and I did like all of the installation of the walls to put the paintings up and drawings up, and then I published a book. I think I gave away like 50 copies of it.
That's cool.
It was fun. Youthful exuberance.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody's allowed to do youthful, crazy stuff. We're not very youthful anymore, though.
No, my back, especially my back.
As I say, of my friends, I'm the only one that walks with a cane.
I used to have one bad part of my back. Now I've got two.
Now my back is just bad.
Yep. All right. Well, I think we're at a good spot for the evening. What do you think?
Yeah, we can call it here. I'm also a bit tired myself, so I completely understand.
Zoom out, see where we're at. I'm gonna redraw Liquid Lad's face. He's not exaggerated. There's some of that uncanny valley thing happening here. Everybody else has enough punch to it. Oh, I've got to draw. Krakus is wearing a giant gold chain at this point.
Oh, awesome.
He's coming from the Undersea Casino.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So
I can't wait for this book.
He's got a very large gold chain that he's wearing.
I literally cannot wait for this book.
Yeah, thank you.
I need this thing in my life.
Well, it's one way or another, it's getting done, and it's getting done in 2025. So, well, thank you for coming on. The pages and everything look great. That 2-page spread with those 3-panel progressions, I love the creativity in that. That was very cool.
Oh, thank you very much.
So I hope you and the kiddies have a lovely evening, and thank you, Caleb, and everybody, and Martha's. If you want to, Martha's just said if she wants us to check out her work, she could send it along.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I'd be happy to check out anything.
Yeah, I'll look at anything.
I don't have Discord, but I can give you my email address. So.
Well, I got Discord. I think Martha knows me on Discord, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Either way, I can give you my email address too. So, but yeah, no, I'd love to look at it.
Cool. Well, I wish everyone a good night. Thank you, Alison, and
thank you for having me as always.
Yeah, anytime you can come on, you're always welcome. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.